you're the one we're gonna live with forever. We will never die because of your great mercy, 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 mercy. When you think of me, when you hear my name, when you see my
Hello everyone. Welcome to our celebration Sunday. It's good to be online again, to have this FB Livetream. But before we're gonna move forward, we'll just listen to this song first.
let it be mercy. Don't remember me according to my sin, but remember me with compassion. When my voice is heard around your throne, let it strike your heart with loud alarm. When you think of me, when you hear my name, when you see my face, let it be mercy. When thoughts of me come to your memory, or my story told, let it be mercy.
Yes, Lord.
When I stand face to face and look you in the eyes, see my heart, see my soul, how I fought the fight, brought out my sin. When you look at me, let my life be a treasured memory. When you think of me, when you hear my name, when you see my face, let it be mercy. When thoughts of me come to your memory, or my story told, let it be mercy.
Alright, so good afternoon once again. I don't know who needs to hear this message, but as we start, I would just like to encourage you if you are the one who needs this. By the way, hi Ethel. Thanks for watching. I actually chose this song. It's actually, the title is When You Think of Me. It's actually by Mr. Edwards of International House of Prayer, and the reason I chose this song is I just felt the impression that a lot of us have actually questioned about our identity and about how God looks at us, how He thinks about us. And if you are that person who's struggling right now as to how God sees you, how God looks at you, I just want to encourage you that He actually looks at you with patience. He looks at you with understanding. He looks at you with purity. God does not think ill of you. And you just have to really be real. You just really have to be honest to Him. You just have to be brutally honest and tell what God is going on inside of you. And in that posture, in that place of humility, God is actually attracted to that. And He's always there to catch you, always there to help you, always there to make you understand what's going on. And so, yeah. And again, He is so merciful. His mercies are actually new every morning. It's just actually us. When we think of ourselves, we are not so sure. We question. We somehow put ourselves down, especially when we commit mistakes and failures. But in the eyes of God, it's not like that. He thinks differently than us. And so I just want to put that in place, especially this time that we're going to talk about mental healthness. I mean, mental health, not healthness, mental wellness actually. And yeah, so we're just going to keep going. I know we're kind of running late, but our topic again for this whole month, and this is actually second to the last Sunday of August, and we have been talking about how to have mental and emotional health. And so this afternoon, I'm just gonna really speak from my heart. I just wanna do that, not really so much with the script. And yeah, so again, how to have or how to develop mental fortitude. Joyce Meyer said that as an abused person, two things can actually happen. Okay? Two things can actually happen when you are abused. Either verbally, physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally. Two things can happen. One is either you control people or you are being the one controlled. Let me say that again. Either you control people or you are being controlled by people. And to be honest, it happened to me many times. There were seasons of my life because I didn't really know who I was. I didn't really know what I want. And so I tend to control people. I tend to just, be bossy and do this and do that. And at the same time, I also had people where I felt controlled. I felt abused. It's not their fault, actually. You see, a lot of things that have happened in our lives is not because of other people's fault. It's actually because we have allowed it to happen. And so I was very much like that before. I would play like a victim even in my mind. And I think it's also because of the abuse. Growing up, I was sexually molested for 4 to 5 times, starting when I was 5 years old up until I was 23. And because of that, I didn't know how to act around people. I didn't know how to behave. I didn't know how to really value myself. And so that was really why at the time I was controlling people or being controlled. Now, part of growing up, especially now that I just turned 40 last June 20, over the years I would just allow my mind to be so consumed with negative thoughts, especially when the abuse is happening. I would just take it in and maybe think just okay, brush it off, even though at the times or at those times I was already struggling like really, really intensively. But then I realized that I have to really decide for myself. And so I've made major decisions that I have not done before. It's only till this time. And so when I have those thoughts that are really like gravitude, really weighing me down, instead of crying, because before I would just really cry about it and really be so depressed. So this time I have really learned to just pause and ask myself, why am I crying? And I say to myself, okay, enough of this drama. I don't want to do this. All right? And when I have anxiety attacks, when I have negative thoughts, or when I have worries, I actually ask, is this really something to be worried about? Why am I afraid? Is this really something to be anxious about? And slowly, as I began to just really dig deeper and see that the good thing is this: God has actually given us mind. God has actually given us brains to think. So we really have to use them in a right way. And so when I begin to think, when I begin to ask hard questions to myself and then bring it to God because He has all the answers, then I begin to think clearly. And when that happens, I am able to go back to my personal goals and my purpose in life. Okay, so with that, I want us to also understand that the mind is our battleground. Man, I'm telling you, when I had anxiety attacks for 2 years because of the stroke, it was never easy. I had to constantly remind of myself of the truth. I had to constantly go back to what God is saying from the Bible, to what He is saying about my sickness, about what I'm feeling. Because if you just depend on here, you will actually go crazy. And I know it's not easy. So, but see, things can be done. Something can actually be done. Okay, so we just have to really do what needs to be done in the right way. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he thinks within himself, so is he." So whatever that is manifesting, in your body, in your actions, it's actually starting here. Everything starts here. Okay, so how do we manage our thoughts? How do we conquer what's inside here? Okay, so now the question is, what is fortitude? Fortitude it actually means courage in pain or adversity. Man, I've never thought fortitude like that. When I open the, when I search on, what do you call this one, dictionary, ingon ana din ang fortitude. It means courage in pain. So naa kay kusog maski sa kalisod, maski sa kangilad sa panahon, maski sa mga maingkag dimalas kay kinabuhi. So it means courage in pain or adversity or difficulties and misfortune. What is courage? Kaisog in Bisaya. Joyce Meyer said, "Courage is going forward while fear is still present." When you have anxiety attacks, what do you do? When you are emotionally down and out. Before, what I would do is I would just brush it off. I would just sleep with it. I would just cry and be depressed. But over the years, I have learned to say no. I have to do something about this. I have to get up. I have to dress up and think of the brighter side. Consider the brighter side of what's happening. Okay? One of my business mentors, his name is Chris Jingra. He said this, and actually this really spoke a lot to me. He said, "You attract what you fear." Bisaya pa, I'm gonna translate it. Kung unsa ti imong kahadlukan, ug ito mo abot nimo. So for example, if you are afraid to be abandoned, if you are afraid to be rejected, guess what? It happened to me. I was so scared to be abandoned. I was so scared to be rejected. And guess what happened? I got rejected. I got abandoned. And so I realized, oh, this is not right. Why should I be afraid of being rejected? Why should I be afraid of being abandoned? And you know what's the good thing about it? I actually started to love, to enjoy being alone. For the first time in my life. Because before I feel like my life has to be around people. I feel like I have to have a man. I have to have this. I have to have that. Just to be complete. Just to be whole. And the truth is, people are limited. People have choices. People have decisions to make. And so if I allow myself to be always with somebody or to be always in a specific group or situation, I cannot really move on. And so now, especially at 40, life begins at 40, they say, I've started to love myself in a healthy way. I have started to really take care of myself. Because the thing is, how can I love others when I don't even love myself? And so, to be honest, while I was praying this morning here on the sofa, I actually started to thank the Lord for how He made me. Because before, I actually used to hate myself. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like my face. I didn't like my body and all of that. But just this morning, I said, Lord, thank you for making me me. Thank you for making my hair like this. Thank you for my nose. Thank you for my face. I actually like how you made me that. I actually like my nose. I actually like my face. Before I couldn't say that. Because again, of all the abuses, of all the negativities that I went through, of all of the misunderstanding that I had towards my self-worth, towards my identity. And so, the good thing is, when you start to know yourself, you will also start to know what you want. And it's really okay to say what you want. And the best thing is this. When you start to know what you want, when you start to really know who you are, life becomes easier in a sense that you don't have to please people anymore. You don't have to be someone else. That's been my struggle. Sometimes I still struggle with that even now. But it's actually very taxing when you live your life for the approval of somebody, for the acceptance of somebody. It's so hard to maintain that. And so right now I'm actually learning to, okay, I just have to please one person, and that's him. And see, the thing is, with God, he is not hard to please. For some of you, to my friends from the anxiety and depression support groups, and to the ones also from the stroke survivor support groups, I know that there are a lot of you there and you don't want me to talk about God. I totally understand that. And again, with this live stream, I am not imposing my beliefs on anyone. I'm just really sharing from my heart as to what my experience has been with this God that not everybody likes. In psychology, it says there that when a person really hits rock bottom, like pinakalisod na gyud, when you're at the end of your rope, then the person actually would go inside to himself, to herself, and actually wanting to know more of this supreme being. That's just how it is. Even psychology recognizes that. And so again, my point being is that this is an invitation to those of you who are actually looking for somebody who can help you heal your mind. It's actually him, because he's the one who made us. And so my tips are, number one, I actually have 6 on how to become mentally well, mentally okay. Number 1 is be intentional. I have to tell that myself as well. Be intentional. Joyce Meyer said, if you don't learn to control your thoughts, you will never learn how to control your behavior. Let me say that again. If you don't learn to control your thoughts, you will never learn how to control your behavior. Because again, everything starts here. When you think negative, it will be manifested in your behavior, in your actions. When you're doubting, when you're fearful, it will manifest. It will not even lead you to make right decisions. And this one, 87% of all sicknesses is actually connected to wrong thinking. Diba? 87% sa tanang mga sakit connected daw sa sayop nga panghuna-huna. So we really have to work on our thoughts. I'm not undermining those of you who are struggling right now mentally. I'm not undermining that. I can actually relate, because for the past 29 years, I was actually a very depressed person. And actually just, when I went to Cebu House of Prayer, that I started to really deal with my mental issues. And I started just really sit down and seek God and really know Him more through the Spirit, through the Word. And I'm, even up until now, I'm still a work in progress. I'm not saying that I'm there, because nobody really is, all together if we are just all being honest. So that's number 1, be intentional. Number 2 is attitude of gratitude. See, your altitude, like the place that you can go further with, will be determined by your attitude. And I want you to know, just like what Joyce Meyer says, worry torments. Worry actually torments. Ang worry daw, ang kabalaka daw, magsigisulto sa imuhang utok. Maut-ut kag samot. Musamot kag kakapoy, musamot kag kabati. Musamot ug kabati kang ngilad ang imong panlangtaw sa kinabuhi. Okay, so how do we quit worrying? Okay, this is an assignment for many of you. Matthew 6:33. I want you to read that. How to quit worrying is this. It's when you finally see and admit that worry is not a good thing. Kana bitong kapuyo na jud ka. Sino jud ka balaka? Or just like me before, I remember one of my leaders, and she's actually a good friend of mine. She would ask me like, Beth, why are you crying? It's like almost everything. Baski gagmayng butang. Why would you cry? And then I realized, I said, bitaw tino, ano man ito? Sige makughilak. And so now, when there's something happening, of course, there's always something happening, right? Like every day, na may tabo. So I pause and I ask the right question, like, why am I crying? Anong hilak man ko? Because the thing is, manggod, kung magsigira manggod taghilak, especially babae, you know, we tend to be emotional. We cannot actually think right if we keep crying. So, I am in that project as well. To just really pause and stop crying and ask why, like ask hard questions. Okay, so we need to come to the end of ourselves, decide and accept that worry will not do us any good. Ang worry manggod, ang kabalaka manggod, ladies and gentlemen, it's just like nakadiri ba? You're sitting on the sofa, you know, like a rocking chair maybe. Sigira kang ana, wa ka naabot kung asang napita. Worrying is like sitting on a rocking chair, rocking yourself like this, thinking that you would go somewhere, but you're not going somewhere because it's a rocking chair. You're just staying in one spot. Again, you're just staying on one spot. That's what worrying is all about. And so it doesn't really help us, you know. And the number 3 is this. This one. This is actually from Lao Tzu. He said, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, because what happened? They become your character. Watch your character because it becomes your destiny. Let me say that again. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. And watch your habits because they become your character. Watch your character because it becomes your destiny. Alright, so as I'm gonna close, this is my call to action. For the number 4, 5, and 6 tips, I want you to message me directly. I know I said earlier, I have 6 points actually. And so for the number 4, 5, and 6, I want you to message me directly so we can connect. And we can really help each other. And so with everything that's going on around the world, with everything that's happening right now, this is my closing message to us from Robert H. Schuller. He said, tough times never last, but tough people do. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And so, I encourage you all, including myself, we have to keep working on ourselves. It's not a doom and gloom thing. As long as we are alive, we still have hope. We still have a chance to be better. We still have so many things that we can do. Yeah? And by the way, yeah, so that's it. So again, the 4, 5, and 6, you just have to, you know, PM me directly, message me, and yeah, let's learn from each other. Maybe you can also share something to me. So this is all for this Sunday, and next Sunday, it's gonna be our last Sunday that we will talk on mental and emotional health, still at 3 p.m. So thank you all very much. I just want to encourage some friends who are here. Thank you, Ethel, a good friend of mine. Actually, she's an elementary classmate of my sister and a good friend of mine as well. And then Precious, thank you for being here. Teresa, and then my classmate from college, Sandy, how are you? Thank you for being here. And Judai, wow. Miss Tony. Thank you all so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this FB live stream. So again, I have to say bye right now, and I'm gonna see you on next Sunday, still at 3 p.m. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.